2017 or 2018 year in review. Good luck. I hope you enjoy.
Boats go out across the evening water, smuggling guns and arms across the Spanish border. The wind whips up the waves so loud, the ghost moon sails among the clouds, turns the rifles into silver on the border. On my wall the colors of the maps are running. From Africa the winds, they talk of change is coming. The torches flare up in the night, the hand that sets the farms alight, to spread the word to those who are waiting on the border. In the village where I grew up, nothing seems the same. Still you never see the change from day to day. No one notices the customs slip away. Late last night the rain was knocking on my window. I moved across the darkened room and in the lamp glow I thought I saw down in the street the spirit of the century, telling us that we're all standing on the border. In the islands where I grew up, nothing seems the same. It's just the patterns that remain, an empty shell. But there's a strangeness in the air you feel too well. Boats go out across the evening water, smuggling guns and arms across the Spanish border. The wind whips up the waves so loud, the ghost moon sails among the clouds, turns the rifles into silver on the border. On the border. On the border. On the border.
Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I am outraged. Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Yeah, nice thing to say, you fucking cunt.
See anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, and if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd, and you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome. They're not welcome. They're not welcome.
When they go low, we go high.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders got kicked out of a restaurant, and now conservatives are being called hypocrites.
A Hollywood actor publicly encouraged people to kidnap my children.
I'm Anders Hagstrom, and these are the facts. Sanders walked into the Red Hen restaurant with her family only for the owner, an anti-Trump Democrat, to ask her to leave. Sanders complained about the incident on Twitter, and CNN's Ana Navarro said this was hypocritical because Sanders supports bakers who refuse to make gay wedding cakes. But conservatives aren't the ones contradicting themselves here.
And I think, you know, some people are offended by the idea of baking a cake for a gay couple. But I also think look, you make choices in life. You make choices in life. and there is a cost.
She is such a dumb
Sanders
bitch.
respected the Red Hen's right to kick her out. She left willingly, and she isn't suing the restaurant.
I don't want trouble.
If anything, it's Navarro who is being hypocritical here because she says a restaurant can refuse to serve Sanders, but a baker can't refuse to bake a gay wedding cake.
Yeah, she's a moron.
You have got me.
Navarro's logic is you can't deny service to gay people because being gay isn't a choice. But you can deny service to Sanders because political affiliation is a choice. But this just shows that Navarro doesn't understand what the Masterpiece Cake Shop case was actually about. That baker never refused to serve gay customers. He said he'd served gay customers in the past and would serve gay customers in the future. What he objected to was being forced to make a certain product.
I tried to politely tell them that I didn't do cakes for same-sex weddings. I serve everybody all the time, but I don't make every cake for every event.
He'd make a gay couple a birthday cake, but not a wedding cake. It's Democrats who have a contradiction here. On the one hand, they say Sanders can't force a restaurant to make her dinner, but a gay couple should be able to force a bakery to make a product it doesn't have. That doesn't seem very egalitarian to me.
Anna's a moron.
These Russian activities and the resultant assessment were briefed first to President Obama on the 5th of January, then to President-elect Trump at Trump Tower on the 6th, and to the Congress via a series of 5 briefings from the 6th through the 13th of January. The classified version was profusely annotated with footnotes drawn from thousands of pages of supporting material. The key judgments in the unclassified version published on the 6th of January were identical to the classified version. Well, it's been over 4 months since the issuance of this assessment, as Directors Comey and Rogers testified before the House Intelligence Committee on the 20th of March. The conclusions and confidence levels reached at the time still stand. I think that's a statement to the quality and professional of the intelligence community people who produce such a compelling intelligence report during a tumultuous, controversial time, under intense scrutiny, and with a very tight deadline. Throughout the public dialogue about the issue over the past few months, 4 related topics have been raised that could use some clarification, and I'd like to take a few moments to attempt to provide that clarification. First, I want to address the meaning of, quote, unmasking, which is an unofficial term that's appeared frequently in the media in recent months and is often, I think, misused and misunderstood. So it frequently happens that in the course of conducting lawfully authorized electronic surveillance on validated foreign intelligence targets, the collecting agency picks up communications involving U.S. persons, either their direct interface with a validated foreign intelligence target or where there is discussion about those U.S. persons by validated foreign intelligence targets.
Actors trying to disrupt things in the United States across the board, every day, incoming from these other countries. That does not rule out the presence of other foreign actors. But perhaps the most egregious in revealing of all the lunatic, get him in the rubber room reactions regarding Trump-Russia, once again comes from the former CIA chief, John Brennan. The man, I'm sorry to say, I know it sounds uncharitable, is a complete embarrassment, spewing outrageous falsehoods while offering reckless advice.
Would there be a tendency for intelligence gatherers, briefers, to withhold now some vital intelligence to the president?
There very well might be. There might be, out of concern.
He went on to expand on that, but yeah, out of concern that the White House or the president would run to Sergei Lavrov? Or Putin himself? Think about that. This is the guy who headed up the CIA. By the way, the same one, I believe, who signed off on the unmasking without a warrant. He's essentially urging current intel officers, or giving basically tacit approval, to their concealing key national security information from the country's current commander-in-chief.
It's obvious that he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's obvious he can't control his mind or his tongue. And what I've suggested, if now, because he's the nominee for the party, and he's entitled to briefings from the CIA, for example, I said publicly, give him fake briefings. Pretend you're briefing. Don't tell him anything that you don't want to get out. And that's how I feel about it. I think that the man is a loose cannon. I think he's done so much to hurt our country with our international relations already.
But as a Republican nominee, isn't he entitled to get those briefings?
Give him fake briefings.
What does that even mean?
It means they'll tell him stuff. He won't know the difference.
You're basically telling the intelligence community to lie to him.
No, I'm not going to lie to you, but I still have to tell you everything.
Porn president. He's the one that. Why is it that you don't call Donald Trump the creepy porn president? He's the one that had sex with a 4-month-old son at home with my client without a condom.
Okay, so
but you.
It's who I am. It's what I know and what I did for over 3 decades as a prosecutor, superior court judge, as well as elected district attorney. The way it works is you are innocent until proven guilty. Clear, unambiguous words etched in stone. Why would anyone ignore this truth? Especially the ranking Democrat on Senate Judiciary, Senator Dianne Feinstein, is stunning. But you shouldn't be surprised. The left is committed to the removal of a duly elected president, the destruction of our system of capitalism, and now an all-out assault on our system of justice. To them, you are guilty. Guilty until proven innocent. But no one in all the years I spent in courtrooms has ever been able to prove a negative. So forget the time-honored notions like due process, probable cause, beyond a reasonable doubt, or a jury of your peers. Today, unsupported, uncorroborated, untested words, not facts, are sufficient to convict, not just in the court of public opinion, but in the esteemed, hallowed halls of the United States Senate. Forget the right to counsel, the ability to defend yourself, the right to confront your accuser, or even cross-examine your accuser. Truth, in this scheme, is nothing more than collateral damage if a Republican is on the receiving end of an anonymous allegation. So, Dianne, let me see if I get this. Another Democrat, a congresswoman from California, no less, forwards a July letter to you containing a completely unsubstantiated claim that Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, while in high school, tried to force himself on another high school student almost 40, I said 40 years ago. Kavanaugh, for anyone who even cares, has categorically and unequivocally denied the allegation. So, why are we just hearing about this now? Dianne, when you get the letter, what do you do to make sure it's real? That the person is even real? Given the left's penchant to buy fake dossiers, make up facts, and collude with the media to sabotage even the President of the United States, forgive me if I think it's all hogwash. Okay, you say, quote, the individual strongly requested confidentiality, declined to come forward or press the matter further, and I have honored that decision. Dianne, you honored that decision? Did you even speak to this alleged person? Did you meet with her, talk with her, interview her? Did you ask her to meet with others? Did you ask why she said nothing for almost 40 years? And Dianne, why would you wait to even send it to the FBI? Is it because nothing in you and your pack of demon rats, that's why I said demon rats, aka Democrats' bag of tricks, was working against Kavanaugh? Nothing was working that you were doing, beginning with Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, and every unhinged lunatic you could find.
Mr. Chairman.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Mr. Chairman.
To serve as Associate Justice.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized for a question before we proceed.
You're out of order. I'll proceed.
We cannot possibly move forward, Mr. Chairman.
I extend a very warm welcome.
We have not been given an opportunity to have a meaningful hearing on the nominee.
Their 2 daughters,
Mr. Chairman, I agree with my colleague Senator Harris. Mr. Chairman, we received 42,000 documents that we haven't been able to review last night, and we believe this hearing should be postponed.
American people.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
Directly from Judge Kavanaugh.
That is not allowed to happen in a Senate meeting like that.
And Diane, you've been sitting on this letter for almost 2 months. You let Brett Kavanaugh go through days of Senate hearings.
I think it was John McCain that sent it. It's right up.
263 pages of 1,300 follow-up written questions. And now you want to character assassinate this man who's undergone 6 FBI full-field investigations where no such allegation resembling this anonymous nonsense has ever surfaced? Diane, as the ranking member of the committee interviewing Kavanaugh, how could you possibly let a moment pass without addressing the issue when Kavanaugh was right in front of you and would have had the opportunity to respond? What were you thinking? Are you stupid? Why would you let it go? Let me tell you why you'd let it go, Diane. Because even you didn't believe it. What other reason could there be? Now, I know about women who've been sexually assaulted and the kind of pain they go through. It is different from other crimes. It lingers and rears its head throughout their lives. I have prosecuted on their behalf for decades. One of the ways that we establish their credibility is with how recent their complaint is. A recent outcry is enormously powerful. An anonymous one almost 40 years later? Not so much, Diane. But silence? I guess I shouldn't be surprised. You bozos in Congress actually had a fund of taxpayers' money, our money, to pay congressional staffers who were victims of sexual misconduct by your co-workers. It's a fund that even you as a woman, a powerful senator, kept quiet about. Whose side are you on? Does it depend on politics? Does it depend on the politics of the accused? Your audacity to destroy and try to destroy a man with impeccable credentials, harm his family, and shift the burden of proof to the accused by alleging one of the most heinous allegations imaginable shows your complete disregard for truth, justice, and the American way.
Now, Chairman Goodlatte had asked you about the recommendation, and you talked about the briefing team, and you said you saw no reason not to accept the recommendation of the team. How much time did you spend reading the recorded testimony of Hillary Clinton from that 3.5-hour interview?
Congressman, I'm not going to go into the particulars of my briefing, except to say
this is just your own personal work. Did you go through in detail all of the statements she made in that 3.5-hour interview?
Congressman, as I've indicated previously, my role that I had decided earlier was that I would be speaking and meeting with the team who had done that substantive in-depth work for over a year, that had worked on this matter, that had compared.
Now, you said that several times, Attorney General, and I don't have enough time to have you keep repeating that 4 more times. But you, when Chairman Goodlatte asked you about the statute and whether it includes the term gross negligence, you made an improper statement. You said discussion of the statute would require discussion of the facts. That's not true. From my years of judging on the bench, your comment that discussion of the statute would require discussion of the facts, when he asked you about an element that's contained in the statute, Attorney General, that really sounds like an answer somebody would give who hadn't read the statute and was looking for a dodge to avoid talking about a statute with which they're not familiar. You are aware, and this doesn't require any discussion of any facts whatsoever, but you are aware that in 18 U.S.C. 793F, gross negligence is an element of the offense, are you not?
Congressman, I refer you to my statement that you just commented on. with respect
Okay,
to
well, if you're
answer
not
to the
going to answer the
chairman.
question, I'm afraid you
Question
may
to
be
me
reinforcing
was the
it.
meaning of a phrase.
Now,
in
you
the
said
text,
there was no
and I referred
basis
to it in
not
that
to
manner.
accept the recommendation of our team, but you've given no indication whatsoever that you did any independent reading of the evidence, of the statements. Was Hillary Clinton's statement even recorded?
Congressman, I'm not going to discuss the specifics of that. I believe the FBI has provided extraordinary clarity and insight
Okay,
into
well,
that.
if you're not going to
That
answer the
information is
question,
before
then
you.
let's move on. But I find it
What
extraordinary
an evasive
that after a
bitch.
3.5-hour interview, so quickly a recommendation is made. So there are inquiring minds that are very intelligent that have said, wow. It almost sounds like on that plane, somebody said, look, if you just tell Hillary to come in, we're wrapping up, but we got to be able to say that we interviewed her. It won't be recorded, so she'll be good. It sounded like it was a check the box. You're familiar with Scooter Libby's case and Martha Stewart's case. I know it was well before you came to office, correct? You remember they were prosecuted for making a false statement when the FBI and the Justice Department couldn't make the case they started out. You remember that?
One in New York and I believe one here.
Right.
Here meaning.
And so that's a pretty common instrument to be used. If someone makes a statement somewhere inconsistent in what they tell the FBI, that itself becomes a matter of prosecution. And I am shocked. I thought it would be weeks before an answer could be made, but it looks like to do a 3.5-hour interview, you haven't reviewed the facts, you reviewed the team recommendation, and I would just encourage you, Attorney General, your oath was not to follow the recommendation of some team. Your oath is your own responsibility to our Constitution.
The greatest scandal and crime in American history. In fact, it's more fundamental than that. What happened in 2015 and 2016, and then after President Trump's inauguration, was such a disgraceful assault on the U.S. Constitution, the Republic, and its citizenry, that a failure to reveal the truth, expose the criminals involved, and then punish them, risks the crime being repeated. Many of us have known the details for some time and simply want justice. We also know that if the crime is repeated, it's unlikely America can continue as a functioning constitutional republic. President Trump knows this as well. But what else does he know? That the enemies of the republic, while weak, still have a say, which is why he's waiting and why you don't need to worry. Please continue watching to find out the reasons. Trump and Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Trump's strategic mindset is most influenced by Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese master of strategy. Sun Tzu wrote one of Trump's favorite books, The Art of War. One of Sun Tzu's key rules is that wise generals do not engage the enemy in battle until they know that they have won the war. Remember, Trump knows everything and can prove it. This includes Spygate, Obamagate, the Clinton Foundation, Uranium One, Benghazi, the Iran deal, everything. He has all the evidence to nail Obama, Clinton, and all their cronies to the wall, and he's armed his cannons for firing,
What are you doing?
but not before the time is right.
What you doing?
But he isn't ready to fire just yet. Trump has had to prepare the terrain first. Remember, since his inauguration, Trump has appointed loyalists to the key agencies that protect the Republic: the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Supreme Court of the United States, the Senate Judiciary appointments, and other agencies are all led by Trump appointees. The military establishment is also 100% behind Trump. Trump knows that he is close to victory, but has not yet won the war. Why is that? Robert Mueller's special counsel and the fake news media, the last serious enemy holdouts, have yet to be defeated.
This guy's fucking smart.
Trump's assault on the Republic's enemies. Have no fear, the enemies are reeling. Since November 8, 2016, their mission has always been simple: to protect the Clintons, Obama, and all their cronies. They have been subjected to withering fire for 2 years, sustaining massive damage. Consider what we know. Comey's entire FBI team has been wiped out. The same for Lynch's DOJ rat. Obama's NatSec crew, Brennan, Clapper, Comey, etc., has been stripped of security clearances and know they are legally exposed. The Clintons have been under intense DOJ OIG investigations for the Clinton Foundation and Uranium One. Obama has been under intense DOJ OIG investigation for Spygate, the election crime. The leaked network of fake news reporters working with Obama and Clinton have also likely been uncovered. The UK and Australian governments have been muzzled. Democrats in Congress, yes, they have won the House. But once the role of so many of their most powerful members is revealed, it's likely that their victory will be a Pyrrhic one. And more. You get the picture. They may whine on Twitter and play games, but Trump has most of the Republic's enemies muzzled or defeated. However, Mueller and fake news remain. They are very weak now, but have one last weapon left. Defeating Mueller and fake news, Trump's strategy. Obama and Clinton destroyed modern journalism by weaponizing it. During the 2016 election, 65 so-called journalists were exposed as covert Clinton partisans working with her campaign as a de facto department of propaganda. The OIG report released in 2018 indicated that reporters were working with corrupt FBI agents to do the same thing. It has been strongly suggested that there is a cadre of propagandists masquerading as reporters who have been secretly paid to do Obama and Clinton's dirty work. The fake news' weapon has always been to use classified information and leaks to damage the opponents of Obama and Clinton. Their ability to influence millions of brainwashed citizens 24/7 is a potent weapon. Trump has known this for a long time. That's why he's hammered the fake news 24/7, 365 since 2015. It's also why since early 2017, Trump and his master spooks have confused and distracted the fake news enemies with real leaks of fake news, while also sealing off any leaks from the most important investigations into Obama and Clinton that have been running in secret. This has had a devastating impact, but Mueller and fake news still have the ability to create and shape narratives working together. For example, right now, Mueller is trying to frame the 4 individuals who will be revealed as targets of the illegal FISAs: Manafort, Flynn, Papadopoulos, and Page, as suspicious liars. This is for fake news to activate later. Mueller is also desperately trying to create a false narrative that the Russians hacked the DNC and then leaked it to WikiLeaks, then waited for the green light by the Trump campaign to release them. Fake news is pushing this lie 24/7. Trump knows exactly what Mueller and fake news are doing. What else does he know? They need fresh meat in the form of information to keep up their assault on Trump. In order to create narratives, Mueller needs access to fresh intelligence. For fake news to do the same, they also need fresh leaks. Trump isn't going to give them either. Can you see why he's holding back? Let's say that Trump releases everything, unredacted, today. Fake news would misreport it and twist it in a way that their zombie-like fans would believe. And Mueller would also be able to come up with the new investigations and narratives to keep his witch hunt alive until 2020. The solution? Release nothing until Mueller is gone. Without Mueller, fake news are deprived of their one last Obama-Clinton holdout. Pressure Mueller to close his investigation and then release everything. The end game. Goodbye, Mr. Mueller. Mueller was probably hoping to try and keep his witch hunt going until the new Congress is sworn in on January 3rd, 2019. That will now be very difficult. Time is against him. and Trump has been turning the screws on him tighter and tighter since the midterm elections for at least these reasons. AAG Whitaker has been appointed and is no friend. He will have already leashed Mueller, if not ordered him to close the investigation. A steady flow of incriminating information against Obama, Clinton, and their cronies is starting to emerge via reporters such as John Solomon. We are seeing the appearance of senior Obama officials forced to testify under oath in Congress. Two of Mueller's targets, George Papadopoulos and General Flynn, will soon be able to tell their stories with no fear of consequences. We are also learning of major investigations into Spygate and the Clintons that have been kept hidden and under wraps. Mueller's new strategy will likely be to release a damning report that he hopes the House can use to impeach Trump. One problem: Whitaker has the power to block its release. One thing seems certain: Mueller will be closed down, in my opinion, by or near the end of the year, if not sooner. Once that happens, it is endgame for the enemy. Timing and momentum. Once Mueller is gone, it is over for the enemies of the Republic. Trump will know he has already won the war.
An FBI investigation led by McCabe could continue unhindered. Next up, the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice, which comprises 60 agencies, was transformed during the Obama years. The department is forbidden by federal law from hiring employees based on political affiliation. However, a series of investigative articles by PJ Media published during Eric Holder's tenure as Attorney General revealed an unsettling pattern of ideological conformity among new hires at the DOJ. Only lawyers from the progressive left were hired. Not one single moderate or conservative lawyer made the cut. This is significant as the DOJ enjoys significant latitude in determining who will be subject to prosecution. The DOJ's job in Spygate was to facilitate the legal side of surveillance while providing a protective layer of cover for all those involved.
The good guys in the government, in the House, keep this line of questioning, knowing that this is going to be public. They want us to know the importance of the Anthony Weiner laptop. So let's look into this. What we're going to see here is that there was a whole month from the end of September to October 27th when they did nothing on the laptop. And then if you recall, Comey announced that they were reopening the email investigation after saying on July 5th, 2016 that no charges should be brought against Hillary Clinton. Everything's great. Everything's honky-dory. She didn't mean it. Slap on the wrist. Not a big deal. No one will prosecute. Right? Remember that malarkey. And then, interestingly enough, we had all of these banners of disingenuous origin happen across the nation, which started to divide us against, by race and law enforcement. Go back and look at the timeline. I remember that very clearly. He absolves Hillary Clinton, and all of a sudden we have all of these occurrences the following days to distract us from that. So here we are. There's an email investigation that he concludes supposedly in July after taking testimony not under oath from Hillary Clinton. We're supposed to forget about it. The Weiner laptop comes up at the end of September, and they do nothing about it for a month. But this is where it gets really interesting. Just follow this. It's exposing who is involved in this cover-up. All right, so we come to this point right here. By the way, when they talk about a mid-year exam, that was the FBI code name for the Clinton email investigation. It was called mid-year. Grassley asked Comey in another hearing I read, I don't remember it, but I remember reading in another hearing that Grassley questioned Comey if this was called mid-year because they wanted to wrap it up before the middle of the year so that this thing can go away and Hillary Clinton could win the presidency. That's why I remember the name of it. But it's called the mid-year or mid-year exam. That was the code name for the email investigation. And here we are. All right, so they're asking this question to Comey. You said earlier today, and again I'm paraphrasing, the best investigations are done promptly. Get it done. Do you recall that? Jim Comey answers, uh-huh. What do you know about the timeline or the lack of attention to the Wiener laptop that I think is attributed to Peter Strzok? And then there's a conclusion drawn that maybe that it was indicative of a bias to influence something. I'm not so worried about that. I'm just, what do you know about the timing or the lack thereof of looking at that laptop? And then here's another Comey lie classic. Only what I read in the IG report, which found that there was a variety of people thinking other people were handling it, but most importantly found that there was not. So in other words, here is Wiener's laptop that has all this information on it. He is the husband of Uma Abedin, the right-hand lady of Hillary Clinton, and they have this laptop, and everyone thinks that somebody else is working on the investigation and no one's looking at it. Now let's look at the time frames of this. Comey, I was briefed on the morning of the 27th about what had been found and what they believe was on the Wiener laptop. Sometime, I think, the first week of October, someone said something to me in substance that there may be some connection between the Wiener case and mid-year, the Hillary Clinton investigation. That's very interesting. And they start to press him. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about it more until October 27th, when they asked to meet with me and brief me. And then they asked a question of Comey, and October 27th, that meeting and that briefing resulted in you taking certain action? Correct. The FBI and the Department of Justice decided to seek a search warrant for the contents of the Wiener laptop as related to the mid-year case. But the briefing on, I believe, it was September 28th, you didn't take any action subsequent to that information you received on September 28th? On September 28th, James Comey received a briefing that there was information related to the mid-year exam or the Hillary Clinton investigation, and he did nothing until October 28th because everyone thought that something else was going on. And who was masterminding all of this? Apparently, it seems to be, in cooperation, of course, with Director Comey, was Peter Strzok, again, playing defense for Hillary Clinton and the deep state. The same one who questioned General Flynn, the same one who talked about the secret society, and the same one who talked about the insurance policy with his side chick, Lisa Page. Folks, this is evidence upon evidence upon evidence of deep state FBI. The left is going crazy with abolish ICE. If there's anything that needs to be abolished, dismantled, and recreated from the ground up, it's the FBI. Yep. This is Black Conservative Patriot. Yep. Thanks for joining me as we...
Well, there you go, folks. There's my year in review of what I found pretty unsettling, and some of the good and some of the bad of 2018. Leave your comments and suggestions in the bottom of the window, and I hope we all have a great new year. I have a feeling it's going to be better than last year. I know the Democrats and the media won't be leaving our president alone any sooner, but we need to do what I said. We need to get some voter ID laws in all 50 states. We need to correct the way mail-in ballots are done. We need to put voter frauds in jail, like Sykes. We need to make sure that Obama and Hillary are charged with crimes, high crimes and misdemeanors. And we need to make sure Mueller is done. I think this last gentleman said it best when he said that Trump's not going to drop anything till Mueller's closed. And I think that's probably a very good suggestion. Anyway, so this is 2018 signing out. Amazon Jude. Like I said, you can like or leave comments in the bottom of my window. And Happy New Year. I think it's going to get better.